after the events of 9/11, we started talking to each other. Yeah, this is much better. He has been extremely helpful all along the way. When we had any concerns, we took it to Eric and to the Department of Justice. His colleagues were also very helpful and friendly. So we're very happy to have him here as an old friend of Karamah. He's not very old, but the relationship is old. So in his capacity as special counsel, Mr. Treene coordinates the Civil Rights Division's cases involving religious discrimination in employment, public accommodations, public facilities, education, and housing. The protection of houses of worship from discrimination in zoning law, the religious rights of inmates, and the prosecution of crimes based on religious bias. He also coordinates the Justice Department's efforts to cooperate with the Muslim, Sikh, Arab American, right? That's how come you know him pretty well, and Asian American communities regarding the prevention of hate crimes and religious accommodations. All of these groups are groups that Karamah likes to work with as well. Prior to joining the Justice Department, Mr. Treene was litigation director at the Beckett Fund for Religious Liberty, which is an organization in DC I'm sure you know about. It's an interfaith and nonpartisan public interest law firm in Washington. He's a graduate of Amherst College and Harvard Law School, and the former student of a member of our advisory board, so it all connects. And a former law clerk to Chief Judge John Walker Jr. of the United States Court of Appeals for the Second Circuit. He is First Amendment expert and has authored a number of articles on the subject. I have worked repeatedly, and Karamah has, with Mr. Treene on issues involving First Amendment topics, relating especially to Muslim women. And rather than trying to characterize these cases for you, I'm sure he will touch upon some of them. He also goes beyond that. I mean, because some of what we worked on had to do, for example, with the Michigan case, which has the niqab issue. Other cases involving veils, statutes, state statutes that involve veils. But, you know, I mean, let me make this, two things I want to make clear before I turn the microphone to Eric. First of all, there is a lot more to civil rights of Muslim women than the veil or the niqab. And so this is not the focus of our concern. It's one of the things we need to talk about. Now, why do we need to talk about it? Does Karamah believe that you should wear a veil or not, wear a niqab or not? We believe that's none of our business. Different women have interpreted the religious text differently, and it is their right to do that. And our position is that whatever you think is mandated religiously, we're here to defend it. That's what the First Amendment right is about. And it's in that capacity that we go to the Department of Justice and other sources to bring to their attention anything that looks like an infringement on Muslim women's rights. But now I've spoken enough, and I'll turn it over to you to give a fuller picture of what's going on.
Thank you. I might speak a little loud, so do you want to turn it down? Thanks to you all for coming out. I want to start by talking about President Obama's historic speech in Cairo, where he spoke on a number of important issues. But as someone with a background in religious liberty and religious discrimination, I was particularly interested in what he said about religious freedom. And what he said was, freedom in America is indivisible from the freedom to practice one's religion. That's why there's a mosque in every state of our union and over 1,200 mosques within our borders. That's why the U.S. government has gone to court to protect the right of women and girls to wear the hijab and punish those who would deny it. I'm going to talk a little about that case that he's referring to later on, but I think it's key what he said, that freedom in America is indivisible from the freedom to practice one's religion. Come on. Religious liberty is often referred to as the first freedom. It's the very first freedom mentioned in the Bill of Rights. Even before free speech, all these other important rights, the first one mentioned, it was very much in the minds of the founders. George Washington, in a famous letter to the Hebrew congregation of Newport, Rhode Island, spoke of religious liberty, saying it's now no more that toleration is spoken of as if it were the indulgence of one class of people that another enjoy the exercise of their inherent natural rights. For happily the government of the United States, which gives to bigotry no sanction, to persecution no assistance, requires only that those who live under its protection should demean themselves as good citizens in giving it on all occasions their effectual support. I think it's key that he said here at the beginning, it's now no more that toleration is spoken of as if it were the indulgence of one class of people that another enjoy the exercise of their inherent rights. These are inherent rights that inhere in us as human beings, that we all enjoy. It's not a gift from the state. It's not something we vote we vote or we give to somebody. It's something that you have and the government should recognize. That's why religious freedom is the first freedom. It's often said we're a nation of immigrants, which we are. We all came originally from somewhere, or our parents did, or grandparents. But I also think we're a nation of pilgrims. We are one of the most religious nations in the world, if you measure it in terms of the number of people who believe in God, the number of people who attend religious services on a regular basis, and also based on the diversity. At the time of the founding, it was a multiplicity of Christian sects and offshoots, and Muslims were here from the very beginning. Some 292 Muslims are believed to have fought in the Civil War on the Union side. And over time, the number of religions represented in the United States has grown dramatically. So religious liberty is critically important to us as a people, and the exercise of religion is important to us all. And this is a universal principle. It's the Quran speaks of religious liberty, that there shall be no compulsion in religion. And another passage exhorting that remind people, you're a reminder, but you're not a watcher over them. God is responsible for ultimately. You can tell them what they should be believing, but ultimately people make that choice. And the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, Article 18, in that famous UN document, it's not famous, but this keystone document adopted at the end of World War II, says everyone has the right to freedom of thought, conscience, and religion. This right includes freedom to change his religion or belief, and freedom, either alone or in community with others and in public or private, to manifest his religion or belief in teaching, practice, worship, and observance. I just noticed it says his religion. Of course, speaking to women now, and it's his or her that is intended. And in fact, President Obama, in his remarks in Cairo, I think it's significant that 3 times in the speech he addressed the issue of the headscarf, realizing how fundamentally important that issue is for Muslim women, how important it is as a matter of religious liberty, but also how important it is in the relationship of Western countries with Muslim countries. And the idea, there's a line, I didn't write it down, but he says something along the lines of, we shall not impose this view based on hostility under the guise of liberalism. We need to recognize everyone's religious liberty as they see it, and that's part of that fundamental right, is that you impose a certain vision of religion on anyone, that it's for each person to express and define. Attorney General Holder, on the day of the Cairo speech, echoed President Obama's words, saying, "The President's pledge for a new beginning between the United States and the Muslim community takes root here at the Justice Department, where we are committed to using criminal and civil rights laws to protect Muslim Americans. A top priority of this Justice Department is a return to robust civil rights enforcement and outreach in defending religious freedom and other fundamental rights of all of our fellow citizens in the workplace, in the housing market, in our schools, and in the voting booth.